Ladies and gentlemen, we invite you to watch English news broadcast on the Central Television channel of Đồng Province. On June 22nd, U.S. veterans visited and paid a courtesy call to the Standing Committee of Steering Committee 415. Following this, they began searching, collecting, and identifying where matter remains in Đồng Province as part of their visit and work in Vietnam. Colonel Bùi Văn Sĩ, Deputy Political Commissioner of Đồng Nai Provincial Military Command, stated at the meeting that Đồng Nai has been heavily impacted by war, affecting over 13,000 residents, including more than 8,800 victims of Agent Orange dioxins, mostly veterans and their descendants. Andrew Wells Dang, representing the U.S. Veteran Group, highlighted Đồng Nai's Economic Development Cooperation with USAID. He noted their collaboration on dioxin remediation at Biên Hòa Air Base and disability support projects. The U.S. Veteran Group recommended U.S. government support for the Agent Orange dioxins victims and pressed a commitment to healing war wounds and strengthening bilateral friendship. They also handed over files related to Vietnamese war matters to Đồng Nai, including those linked to the burial site at Biên Hòa Air Base. Vietnam is ambitiously striving at COP26 under the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change to achieve net zero emission by 2030. However, strict environmental regulations in developed countries are putting pressure on the government and Vietnamese businesses to accelerate their shift toward a greener economy. This is the key focus of the recently published 2024 Vietnam Annual Economic Report by the Institute for Economic and Policy Research. Experts highlight that the transitioning to the green energy is pivotal for Vietnam's green economic growth. The current energy landscape necessitates an accelerated conversion process. Despite three main challenges: limited time, technological issues, and a shortage of skilled labor, Vietnam is seeing a rise in eco-industrial zones as it moves towards a green economy. Out of Vietnam's 290 operational industrial parks, only 1–2% are transitioning to the eco-friendly status. The government's Decree number 35 of 2022 regulates industrial park management, but transitioning units face significant challenges. Experts suggest that achieving net zero emissions by 2030 requires additional policies and financial support for sustainable production and carbon neutrality efforts. The General Department of Customs has reported that the import value of various types of iron and steel in May reached $1.72 billion, making 14.9% increase, equivalent to the rise of $223 million compared to the previous month. Vietnam imported $1.13 billion worth of various iron and steel types in May, a 17.9% increase with 1.55 million tons, up 20.6% from the previous month. From January to May 2024, import total $7.48 billion, rising 26.3% compared to the same period in 2023, with 6.92 million tons value at $5.02 billion, up 50.15% and 27.6% respectively. Key imports came from China at $4.77 billion, up 53.8% from 2023 and 37.9% from 2022, and South Korea at $735 million, up 4.6% from 2023. The Vietnam Steel Association forecasts 2024 finished steel production to reach 30 million tons, a 7% increase from 2023, amid ongoing challenges for steel enterprises. On June 22nd, Daniel Christenbrink, the U.S. Assistant Secretary of State for East Asian and Pacific Affairs, expressed deep concerns about China's recent actions in disputed maritime areas. During his visit to Vietnam, Assistant Secretary of State Daniel Bristenbrink says, "We think China's recent actions near the Western Reef, particularly with the Philippines, are irresponsible, aggressive, dangerous, and causing a lot of instability." He asked on the countries in the area, including China, to follow international laws and behave responsibly. Earlier, the Philippines warned China not to do anything that could hurt the sailors and ships in the South China Sea. The Philippine Department of Foreign Affairs said China's action on June 17 hurt a Philippine marine badly and damaged Manila ships. Speaking at the trade conference on the sidelines of European Forum Warschau EFW in Australia, Czech Republic Foreign Minister Jan Lubasky suggested that the European Union (EU) should admit candidate countries sequentially. According to Foreign Minister Lubasky, EU enlargement should follow a regatta model, where candidate countries compete in reform progress. He believes that admitting countries at the same time might slow down reforms. Lubasky stressed that the meeting EU rules and reform requirements should happen simultaneously. He also says the EU needs to clearly state its position of all European countries wanting to join and meet their accession criteria. Earlier on June 21st, the EU officially approved starting talks to admit Ukraine and Moldova. Thank you for watching the English News broadcast on Dong Nai Province Essential Television Channel. Goodbye and see you next time.